When you are self-empowered, it means that the self of you, your identity, use your name, is completely in your awareness now. Who you are is not a construct of your solo self. And thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel, as he continues to explain things in ways that I just love. Mwah. So it's common sense for any person who's a unconditionally loving with flaws and imperfections person. Raise your hand. I live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. Let me specify, that's what spirituality is all about, and also sciences and spirituality come together. So I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and I'm a functional adult. I'm also the woo-woo pseudoscience lady because I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together, but also because people don't believe in mystics and they think we're woo-woo. And so you got a very straightforward way for me to share with you authentically what you get to do here is to be yourself. And I love Jesus. But we don't talk about the religious people, and we don't talk about mantles of mental health, mantles of yoga, mantles of spirituality, and spiritual bypassers in a way of saying they're right. No, we say, wow. Anybody see Cusco out there yesterday? I saw a squirrel, and that's from the love dependent group who got controlling and angry after being manipulative and desperate. Cusco being a liar, liar, pants on fire, but with an inner critic who needs Dr. Daniel Fox because that way he can get out of, or she or they. Okay, so when we see projection, a 5D mystic, we're going to catch it, notice it, and as an attachment trauma-informed person, I think maybe, do we have traits? Or, well, I'm not a therapist, so technically, hey, therapy community, don't worry, Maria, you don't have to do anything. If they want, they'll come to us. Okay, bye. And you'll know if you need us. So when I do mentorship one-on-one or group, I know when I say, okay, here you guys, gals and days, we're going to get Dr. Daniel Fox or Dr. Daniel Siegel, and that's it. This is not negotiable because I care about you. And no, I am a person who supports personal development and self-help, not the other stuff. The other stuff is still important because we want the experts who do know about consciousness barriers, memory barriers, in a very, very good, detailed way, which this woo-woo lady here doesn't. So I know the gist, and I keep on learning with my courses and my course material. It's pretty straightforward. What structural dissociation is, for example, I actually got to deal with that. And I shared information in a very informative, sharing way. And this is what happens when people don't want to do their own emotional intelligence mastery shit and or mental mastery shit. And it's not shit. It's just, for them, it's still laundry. And they go, no, Maria. See, you don't understand. The world is fucked up. Men are fucked up. Women are fucked up. And everything's fucked up. They don't say it with this tone. They say it in a very upset, and their sympathetic is all over it. And their 1-year-old is attached, panicky, and they're just freaking out. And again, here's where structural dissociation is happening. They don't want to believe it. They say, no, I'm conscious. I'm conscious while I'm being in this spot. So they don't understand what I'm explaining, and that's why you leave it alone, because that's a biologically rude person who, as Stephen Porges points out, does not have any awareness of them being insensitive, of them being offline and using their safety behavior from their 1-year-old, their 3-year-old, and that's why I got a teenager in the house who's a child. Okay, so functional adult is a potch. I'm not going to be doing martyr superior stuff. Those people who say, here's what you are. Look. Oh my gosh, don't get me started with those ones. Because anytime I'm watching a man and a woman or whoever it is label each other, I'm like, oh, Terry Real, where are you, Terry? They need you because they're doing that thing. They're treating each other like they're their therapist versus coming to you. Okay, so here's what functional adults don't do. We're not your parent. We're not your therapist. We don't do women. Empowered women, it's not about smarts. It's if you're not emotionally available and you're a child inside, I'm not going to be doing any of the gender stereotypes. Okay, so let's move forward. How does a self get all the way back home? Well, for one, they don't ever lose home. So that's where all people who are tuning in here are at, because either you're going to good therapy and you got your inner child in the forefront, or I'm going to share. Being kind and integrated is where we're at. Kindness with all 8 billion and more people, all life form. We don't need to be told it, but when we hear it, it's like, oh, thank you, Sadhguru. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Fox. Thank you to all of those who are saying, you're human, I'm human. No demon coming out of you. Thank you, Patrick McNamara. Come on in, neuroscientist who's studying the shamanic brains, religious brains, and people don't know that decentralization is why we have people saying yoga brings demons out of your body. Yeah, because people will flip the switch from one side to the next when they don't know how to expand consciousness, because rigidity and chaos took over. They didn't have a good therapist around when they were doing the spirituality new age, which is not bullshit. It's that they didn't have a holistic practitioner who cared about, hey, maybe I should get informed on how the brain and mind works so that I can make sure to take care of people's inner and outer well-being, versus use just spirituality stories from the ancient times and say, I'm going to use a shamanic ritual, which counts for more than 15 years of therapy. Really? You think there's a shortcut to get trauma out of your body? I see. Yeah. You know what? They should watch My Cousin Vinny. Has anybody watched My Cousin Vinny? If you haven't, there's a scene in My Cousin Vinny. I love that scene. So I'm going to give it to you because I love to share these types of stories. And you know, I'm not the smart lady. I'm a very stupid lady, but I did learn how to take care of what I do, which is I help people to be themselves, and I started to get informed. And I know all about integration of brain, and I'm going to keep learning about it. So My Cousin Vinny, he's finally interviewing his first witness, and he learned how grits are made in the South, something like that. And basically boiling water. I'm Neapolitan Italian, so it kind of sounded like when we teach people how to make pasta. Put enough salt, not less, not more, otherwise you're going to fuck up the pasta. It won't be good. And no, you don't slap it on a wall. That's okay. So anyways, he learns about grits. And his first witness is basically saying that he was making grits. So he starts lying on the stand because he's like, I turned around and then I turned back around and I saw them. Okay, so My Cousin Vinny says, you said you were making grits, right? Well, doesn't it take, the whole grit world eating population 15 minutes to cook grits? So he's putting him on the spot with the truth. And I don't know. I guess I'm a fast cook. And then he goes and says, oh, excuse me, I didn't hear. Did you say you're a fast cook? Are we supposed to believe that the laws of physics cease to exist on your stove? It's so great. And then he goes on to say, or did you buy your grits from, the guy who sold Jack the Beanstalk bean or whatever? Okay, so my point is, oh, I love being a 5D mystic because, see, this is where my brain, as I heard 4D, we're anointed, we're special, we're this, energy vampires. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're defeating what name you use, because the mystics that want to talk about 5D, they know it's Christ consciousness, and they use that name in ways that I'm like, you don't remember anything about Jesus, apparently. The walking with all the people, the turning the other cheek, you just remember the parts you want. And then watching you walk around barefoot, which is completely spiritual bypassers. They're like so oblivious. Again, I'm not going to go near them. I'm going to be like, wow. And the reality is, when you meet any person, FYI, if you're 5D mystic, I met a 4D. Oh my gosh, I had never met an energy like that. Beautiful, beautiful. See, they're all beautiful, but the mind. So here's where I organize right now. As we close on out, I like to have relationships with people who are grounded. That's why I'm okay with woo. And that's completely where it stands. But with my mystics, I love that we have 5D out there. And when I see 4D, I know they have a purpose. They have a purpose. They haven't found their 0-1-year-old. They're on Elsa's journey. They don't get home. Show yourself I'm dying. They have a whole story for themselves, so we're going to leave it alone. We here, when we have an awareness, what happens, and you all will have had this aha moment, because we are in a theme right now. Your aha moment is, wow, I'm lovable just the way I am. I choose me. I got chosen. I just had some stuff from my childhood and my teenage years, and that's where we are at. We're very straightforward. We get to grow loving relationships, polyamory community. Come on over for secure attachment stuff so that you can, get it together, because healthy self-worth is awesome. I'm not going to lose anyone, because relationships are built with, we walk a walk and talk a talk together with our mouths and emotions and thoughts, all of it, not projection. So I love meeting all people. And as I was saying, when I meet 4D mystics, I love them just as much. I just know they're on a journey, which is not the same. And I didn't think they'd stay on that journey, but now I know. Thank you, Bezel van der Kolk, Stephen Porges, all the therapists, because they're all maladaptive children who don't want to get their inner child in the forefront. We do. So it's an inner child adult, human love narrative, healthy self-worth, functional adult, women, men days, no gender stereotypes over here. We support each other to become the overflow of humanity. It's integration of the brain, somatic empaths, support the natural organized system of yours. Your embodied brain, it wants to return to the restorative embodiment, which is what you see. Enlightenment, soul age group, the human way. No laundry. Nope. Emotional mastery and mental mastery.